Hello everyone and Happy New Year. This is what we're referring to as a special episode because it wasn't actually filmed while we were in Afghanistan. But what we are about to show you is, without any doubt, the most important and serious video we have ever made because someone's life is on the line. Before we go into the interview, I just want to be extremely clear about something. Our videos were filmed in April of 2024. A lot of people are very confused about how we were able to film certain things. Now, the other thing I want to make extremely clear, because this is the very beginning of this traveling to every country in the world in alphabetical order series, which is probably going to take us about 10 years. We are not a political channel. We will never be a political channel. I try and be as absolutely neutral and unbiased in everything I ever do. We are a travel and experience channel. Our entire goal, TFIL, means the f***it list. It's about finding the most ridiculous, unique, and obnoxious experiences, the most unorthodox and unusual things we can possibly do anywhere we go. And my favorite thing out of anything we could ever do is interacting with different people, different cultures, whether that is tribal cultures in Africa, remote sections of the Amazon rainforest, like things that are coming up, if it's researchers in Antarctica, or if it's the Taliban in Afghanistan. We are simply here to document and share with you what we experience. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we view people as people. That's it. We cannot expect to understand what everyone's perspective is, where they have come from, what they're going to do, why they are where they are, and that is it. We just want to meet people and have conversations with them, learn as much as we can, and we just show you the pure, authentic experience. I think our dinner with Taliban video is precisely that. I do not believe there's even a cut in that video. So I just want to make that as extremely clear as we can. Obviously, we're going to end up within divisive topics. That is bound to happen. That's Earth. So that is utmost of importance to us. And just kind of moving forward with the channel. And with all that being said, this video that you're about to see in this interview was not requested by us, but obviously is something extremely important to us.
Yes.
We care about equal rights. Just because we hung out with the Taliban and filmed that and treated them as fellow humans and had just regular interactions with them, wrestling and push-up contests and arm wrestling, we cannot try and say we understand what their viewpoint is. We do not understand where they are in the leadership chain. We do not know the reason why they joined the Taliban. Okay, we cannot and will never make those assumptions. But what I will say, and I will not ignore this, is that when we were there in April, things seemed to be getting better. In August, we saw a new set of restrictions get in place, which we were very aware of as we were editing this, and because we had made some friends, we were there. Just yesterday alone, just so everyone knows that we are paying attention to this, and this is why this is so important, as of just yesterday, and this doesn't mean this is the limitation, women are officially unable to go to high school or university. They cannot work in the civil service. They cannot attend a protest. They cannot leave the country. They cannot go abroad. They cannot drive a car. They cannot drive alone. They cannot travel alone at all. They cannot even ride in a taxi. They're not allowed to speak in public. They're not allowed to speak loudly inside of their own house. They are not allowed to sing. They are not allowed to read the Quran aloud in public. They are not allowed to speak to a male doctor. They're not allowed to play sports. They cannot go to the gym. They cannot go to the park. They cannot wear bright clothing. They cannot wear high heels. And they cannot look at men they do not know. They cannot show their faces in public, and they cannot own a smartphone. These restrictions are quite otherworldly. With that all being said, Ginger can explain how this interview came about, and the ultimate goal here is to, one, raise awareness, and there will be a GoFundMe at the end as well that I'll talk about at the very end of the video.
Yeah, I mean, when we made our trip, planned Afghanistan, all the things we would do, I never ever thought that one of the things would be meeting and interacting with a group of women, and especially well-educated women, English-speaking women, and some very opinionated women. And it was kind of a wonderful day. I loved that I got to meet women my own age and speak with them, and it made me feel so much more comfortable. But the best part of that was that I met Sama. I'm going to call her Sama. That's not her real name, but I met Sama. We instantly clicked. We would absolutely be friends. Like, we are friends. And so we've been keeping in touch. So I think every week we talked since our trip, and she would tell me how it was going there. She would give me updates. I would say, hey, I read this on the news. I read this on Reddit. And she would confirm or tell me even worse things that I wasn't finding on the news. And one day she came to me and said, I have some things I want to say. I need a platform. I have opinions. I think my voice needs to be heard as the voice of Afghani women. We are unhappy, and I'll let her speak for herself, but she asked us for a platform. We obviously said yes, no hesitation. So that's kind of what led to this call. We talked about it and said, what's the best way for us to give her the best platform and let her speak, and not just an Instagram story or something like that, but like, let's give her a whole video so she can speak on behalf of the Afghani women, what they're dealing with right now, how they're dealing with it, what they want for the future, and anything else that she wants to say. So we're just leaving it completely, everything that she wants to say. We're not going to cut out anything. It's her life, it's her opinion. So we're giving this to her so you guys can see it, and you're not just hearing it from us or paper pop-up notes on our videos and things like that. Like, you hear it from her. Like, she's the one who wants to speak to you.
Even the interview that you're going to watch with her was filmed a few weeks ago before the newest restrictions I just read to you were in place. So even this interview isn't even as accurate or depicting of how terrible conditions currently are there. Just want to be extremely clear.
Yeah.
We do not condone the Taliban or any of their actions or restrictions, nor will we ever condone anyone that treats any other human on this planet as anything less than perfect equals.
Yes.
It is insane to me that I have to actually explain that, but I do understand there are new people that are coming to this channel that do not know us and might just perceive us as dipshit Americans, as a majority of the world typically does see Americans.
And we appreciate you watching and being here for it, because we hope you agree with us. Everyone should be treated equally. And we don't even know. Maybe tonight
if you
another
don't
rule.
agree with us, get the fuck off our channel. All of the AdSense from this video is going to be donated to the GoFundMe. So just watching this video is genuinely going to help. If you saw our video on what does $1 get you in Afghanistan, you know how truly impactful a single dollar can be there. So please, like, every single view, even if that equates to a penny, whatever it is helping. And if you do want to help donate towards the end of this video, please do not feel as though like $1 isn't enough. Like, quite literally, everything is of substantial importance in helping them. Thank you for supporting the TFIL A to Z series so far, and I hope you are enjoying the videos. I hope you're feeling as though they're valuable in terms of not only entertainment, but cultural sharing experiences and the education elements that we work so hard to put into these videos between all the researchers and the writers and the additional information that we kind of slap in there as much as we can. And again, have a wonderful new year, and we will continue to bring out the Albania and every other country after. But this one is extremely important to us, and we deem it a very worthy watch and a well-needed special episode. We're with Sama right now, calling in from Afghanistan. We met you during our time out there. I won't even say where we met you or even what city, just because the whole point here is to keep you entirely anonymous. Because without any doubt, what you're doing right now is not allowed, even more so after the news that we saw literally break out last night, which we haven't even spoken about how they have banned the depiction of all living animals, people, anything. So I guess first of all, I want to say thank you.
Actually, thank you so much for giving me this time, for raising my voice and also speaking up about my life, and also about all Afghan girls and women that they are just struggling and surviving under the Taliban regimes. And I appreciate that you, Ginger, dear Ginger, and also dear ELTON, that you are giving me this chance. Actually, it's a big chance for me as an Afghan girl to speak with the international people that they are living there, and also I'm very happy. And yeah, I know doing this kind of actions right now in Afghanistan needs a little bit courage. That I just took that risk, and I hope that it will work for us.
Yeah, because when we met you, it was just women were still allowed to show their face and share their voice. And since that time,
A lot has changed.
those rights have been completely ripped away.
We've kept in touch, but I think because of everything that's been changing, the drastic changes, the rules that have been enforced upon you, or rights that have been taken away from you, kind of caused us to speak more and then think about what can we do to make your voice more heard.
Actually, if I speak from my heart, since Taliban captured Afghanistan, I had a feeling, and that feeling just every day that's kind of disturbing for me. It was disturbing for me because every day I wanted to bring some changes into Afghanistan. And I know that I brought lots of changes due to my career that I am doing right now as a professional girl, but I needed much more. I needed to just be heard from the people that they don't know anything about Afghanistan. You know, even our Afghan people that they are living in like abroad, and also they are not knowing about us. I just want to show them the picture of Afghanistan, the feelings of Afghan girls and women that they are in here and they are just surviving. And this was a big feeling inside of my heart. And whenever I met Ginger, uh, I don't know, but we can say that that was like a miracle because everything just happened, and we didn't plan to just have a meeting like making a video. It just happened, and right now we are in here, and we are just sharing our voice today. I don't know how much people will watch this video. But I'm just so happy, because in the part of Afghanistan, there's a person, there's a girl that wanna talk about her situation, and she wanna talk about the old girls and women that they are living in Afghanistan.
This is obviously very risky for you to be doing an interview, but you feel passionately about it. What would happen if someone found out that you were doing this, or they saw the video and they knew it was you somehow? Like, what would happen?
You know, Ginger, if they really watch this video, if they really hear me, maybe they can see that how much pain that we have right now. And I'm so hopeful that they will not find me. And if they find me, so just I don't want to think about that, Ginger, right now.
You said earlier that you wanted to, help paint a picture for what it is like for Afghan girls and women. Our videos that we filmed there were done, like I said, end of April. Our depiction of the country seemed as though it was a country on the progressive route towards what we thought it was at versus where it seemed. We were seeing women outside in mosques at national parks, and we could see their faces and we could speak to them. That has drastically changed. So could you try and paint that picture for what it really is like now from your perspective for Afghan women and just maybe the culture in general?
Afghanistan is always a beautiful country for the tourists that they are coming here, and they're just filming everything. It's a very beautiful country. Somehow it's a rich country, and somehow it's a country that nothing happened. This is the reality of Afghanistan between a picture that people are showing them on the internet, on the YouTube channels. But how it really feels whenever you're living in Afghanistan. In my own perspective, I'm not just attacking for this government. Okay, when I was in the public government too, because I born on that government and I just grew up on that government. I finished my school, I finished my university, and I start working. Living on that government too was like really stressful because every day was their bomb explosion. Every day. Without any knowing, every day. And every day when I was leaving my house to go to my school and to go to university, I had the feeling that I didn't tell to my mom, but I said to myself, maybe this may be the last day of my life. And I just finished my school with that stress. I finished my university with that stress, and I start working with my people and supporting them still with that stress. But whenever the Taliban came and just captured all over the Afghanistan, the change that they brought to our country was a change that we were not ready. Believe me, mentally, I'm as a young girl, I was not ready for that change. Like they just banned schools, they just banned working, universities, everything, everything we were not ready for that. It took time to get our brain ready for that and just go forward to what's valuable for us, which is education or working and helping our people. But if I be true, living in Afghanistan is like you cannot plan even for 1 week of your life. You cannot have that plan. You cannot. Uh, Personally, for me, this 2 years, I had so many requests is that they wanted to get married with me, but I just rejected them. My family didn't realize me. My friend didn't realize me. Even my colleagues had some thoughts about me that, oh, you're so arrogant. But I said to myself, I'm not so arrogant. I'm just so stressful about if I give birth to a child, how can I how can I manage his or her life in Afghanistan? How can I? Because I'm 6 years old and my 6 years old, every day I felt stress and every day I was like, okay, this may be the last day of my life. I didn't enjoy it as a young girl should enjoy from her life. So how should I give birth to that child? I be not able to answer his or her questions. So this is the life in Afghanistan. Everyone is just suffering. Right now, the economic of Afghanistan is very, very in a bad situation. Everyone is just thinking, how can I bring food to my family? How can I support my children to learn, to have education? Everything is just stressful, Ginger. Everything. Alhamdulillah, I have work and I have salary. But whenever I'm walking to um, I'm just going outside of my house and I'm just seeing my people. Believe me, it's a really big pain in my heart. Everyone is under pressure. Everyone is under stress, which is very painful for me. My people are not happy. They are not happy. They don't have a happy life nowadays in Afghanistan.
And when you're referring to my people, are you referring to all Afghanis, men and women and children alike?
All Afghanis, all of them, even children. One of my nieces is in grade 5, and she will go to like grade 6. And most of the time, she's asking me that, oh, next year they are not allowing me to go to school. What should I do, auntie? Most of the time, I'm telling her that you can be hopeful, my dear. You can be hopeful. Maybe everything may be changed next year. And most of the time, I'm just planning to just register her into online schools. And I'm just buying most of motivational books and also psychology books, and I'm reading for her, and also story books that they are motivating a child to learn and also to continue. I am just doing this because I'm not able to do like big work for her.
Well, she's lucky to have you. That's such a tough position to be in. I can't imagine.
For anyone who is unfamiliar with Afghanistan culture, Muslim, Middle East, Sharia law, anything like that, can you kind of give your perspective on why you feel as though they specifically restrict women's rights more than men's?
They don't have much information and knowledge about real Islam, and they are just focusing on that hadith, on maybe on that ayats that it just focusing on the hijab or maybe focusing on the woman. It's because of that. Because if you read Quran, I have Quran next to myself here with the translation. If you read the Quran is not all about putting restriction on the female. It's all about learn. Like there's a ayat which is saying اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. It means that learn or just read by the name of your God. And every female and man, they are allowed to lead and they are allowed to gain knowledge because knowledge is for everyone. They are just focusing on the restriction that a woman should cover her face, cover her body, because if I do my makeup or if I show my hair, I'm attracting men, and this is a big sin that I made. They are not telling that just do not look at that girl or do not look at that woman. If you look at to that woman and the Islam point of view, if I look at a man or maybe a boy just for once and it's just for speaking and having my conversation, but do not having not feeling like love or maybe attraction to that, so this is not sin. But if I look at to that person and I just imagine love in my inside of my head, so this is a kind of sin. They are not focusing in these kind of things, and they're just forcing us to be covered, even to not do not speaking, because we can attract men by our wives too. They need to gain more knowledge about Islam. Even if we look at our Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was very generous. He allowed her wife to do business. Khadija, she was doing the business. And also, he was very kind with him. They are not focusing in this part of Islam. And I just forgot one of the president, which she's a woman. But look, and she's a Muslim too. Look, this is the real Islam. Real Islam is just allowing you to have your own choices. If I'm wearing this chadar, it doesn't mean that I'm not a Muslim. And if I don't wear this chadar, it doesn't mean that I'm Muslim. It's just it's all about your heart. How do you see Allah? How do you accept Islam? But we cannot fight with them because they are on their own point of view, right and wrong point of view. They say that everything we say, that's right. And everything you say, that's wrong. Even, Ginger, they told us that you're not Muslim. Whenever we saw the women that they are walking in the streets without fully covered, and the men or boys, they are not showing themselves into the mosques for having a 5-time prayers, so they are not Muslim.
They know how important religion is to you, so they add all these new rules for you to follow. And if you don't follow every single rule that they make, then you're not Muslim. You must not care enough. So that's kind of the narrative that they're giving to you.
Yes, absolutely, Ginger. At the last conversation that we had, we said that this is a kind of forcing politic that they are doing on us. If we see the psychological point, let me give an example. If I force you, Ginger, to call me every day, and I forced you, call me every day, you should call me every day. If you do not call me every day, so you're not my best friend. One day you will just block me. There will be lots of distraction. Our people in Afghanistan, most of them are teenage girls and teenage boys, and they're just forcing them to follow their own rules and regulation. Just guess what will happen. They will hate Islam. They will not learn this Quran. They will not follow the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. They will leave Islam. Maybe their actions show that they are as Muslims, like going to mosque and praying, but it's all about the heart.
Last time we spoke to, I kind of asked you about if everyone in Afghanistan, including the Taliban and everyone in control, is aware that economically they're not doing very well. On a global scale, progressive, they're not doing very well. Why would they ever want to take half of their population, the female population, remove their right to education, remove most of their rights to be able to work, remove their rights to communication and free speech and appearance and social life, and obviously it's going to have impacts on having families. Why would the Taliban, who's in charge of the prosperity of a nation, ever want to wipe away half of their country's opportunity at finding growth? And I remember last time you said it was all about control. That answer you gave then was like alarmingly made sense. Obviously, as like to why, but I don't know if you could kind of re-explain your perspective on that. I think that was a really important one to hear from you last time.
As you said, it's all about the controlling. As you know, that half of our country, the economic is just belong to the women works too. If I say that they are kind of controlling us, and they are just kind of controlling our mind, and they're just maybe they want us that do not able to think what should we do in the future, because a woman is just managing a family, and if that woman doesn't have like a healthy brain, how she could manage her child, and also how can she have a good relationship with her husband? So whenever a family becomes sick mentally, that can affect a society, and that society can affect like a state, after that country. And instead, I'm just thinking about myself that why they are doing this. If they think that this is their own country and this is the owner of this country. So they should do something that is beneficial for us, not just harming us.
Makes me wonder. We only see news articles on the decision came from and maybe one or two people that are credited with the new rules being placed in. But are these choices being made by like the Taliban government, being made as a collective decision, or is it just a handful of people or like a small room of people that are putting this forward? Because I asked that because when we were in Afghanistan, we didn't meet anyone we didn't genuinely like. And we met many members of the Taliban. We met commanders of different provinces, and we've shared meals with them. And they were very respectful towards us and towards Ginger and towards anyone else that we saw. So again, maybe it's I'm being naive, but it feels very strange to me to think that those same people could be very pro this choice to restrict rights. So that's where I wonder, like, is anyone a part of the Taliban like very like this is the way to go? Women should hide their faces. They shouldn't talk. They shouldn't have education, or is this just being controlled by like a small amount of people that is forcing this decision upon everyone, not only you and the common people, but even members that are a part of the government?
Actually, I can see that's our government because right now this is the government that we have right now. As I heard from the news and as I watched some videos and also had a small research about them, they are not just in one opinion. There are two parts. One of the parts is they want women and girls to study and also to work, and another part they are not allowing the people to study and work, and they are not just clear with themselves too. And the decisions that they are making, it's not the collective values that we have in Afghanistan, and they are not even asking from the people, how do you feel and what's your idea? No, it didn't happen in this 4 years. But the decisions that they are making is just announcing in the news, and after that, the people are following that rules and regulations. It's just why they're following because they are afraid of them. And if suppose one of the people doesn't follow this kind of rules and regulations, they are facing with the circumstance that Taliban makes for them. And even we don't have any president. We don't know who is controlling the Afghanistan, but there's a person by the name of Amir al-Momin, and he's kind of controlling the Afghanistan. And maybe these kind of decisions belongs to him, and all the Taliban just following him.
Has there been any sort of a movement that you're aware of? People talking about kind of revolting against the government or a coup against the leaders, or has there been any kind of even remote conversation about that happening?
No, in my people, like in my neighborhood or maybe in my circle of friends that I have, I didn't heard about any action that they will take against this government. No, I think by fighting or maybe by doing the big actions or maybe by attacking them is they will not achieve like a bigger things. The only thing that can bring some changes is just by listening to each other. They should listen to us, and we should listen to them. Um, and maybe this can bring some kind of changes in Afghanistan. Communication, I think the communication is the only way.
Let's say things don't change and the restriction on education is still there 10 years from now. What do you think the future of Afghan women and girls is?
Oh my God, I even don't want to think about it. But if this situation continue in this way, the light just will be off. Even right now is off. We will have Afghanistan with all illness people. We will have an Afghanistan that no one is knowing about anything. The woman is just protecting a child. Even they will not know about themselves. Right now, in most of our provinces, woman or a girl is a thing that you can exchange it by an animal. But suppose if this situation continues, so oh my gosh, it will be a terrifying, and also it will be a horrible place to live. Yeah, because a country is just stand by their own um, youngest generation. It stands by the education. It stands by the business. It stands by the knowledge. it stands by their own people, by their women. But suppose if you take all these things from a country or from a family, not country, from a family, what will happen? They will die, or maybe they will survive, and they will be like a bunch of zombies.
Important thing to hear, because if this is where things are at now, and this has happened pretty much within 3 years, right, of the American retreat and the Taliban taking over control, but these two key announcements have happened within 8 weeks of each other.
Yeah.
If every 8 weeks something happens like this, it's like people need to be aware of what's happening right now and also be aware of like how bad it can be. I mean, you literally just expressed that there's a chance that women can be bought and sold the same way livestock are. The fact that you're even saying that is an actual possibility within 10 years, and that's one of the first things that popped into your head. It's like it's in a conversation that has to be had, because I don't think if people understand the trajectory that this can go at, people might be like, oh, that's it. That's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah.
They have to cover their face. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it's education. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, they can't have media anymore. It's not that bad. And before you know it, it's the entire like enslaving of a gender.
Then at some point it's maybe too late to do anything.
Exactly. So I feel like that's why like asking these types of things is just so important, because I feel like it is very hard for people to see that much forward. It's easy to look back and be like, wow, that was a really terrible thing that we let happen. But to be able to know that this is what it's on path for, I think is so important, especially with getting people to be more proactive about slowing the progress, if not hopefully reversing like the path that's happening over there. What do you think ends up needing to happen, or what duration of time in these current situations do you think it needs to be before there is some form of internal, turmoil or an insurrection that happens? Or do you think that like there's just too much fear and too much power being held and that balance just can't be flipped?
They are just gaining more power day by day if they are not letting us to speak. And in case of that, that you said that it will happen like in 10, what will happen in 10 years? Yes, if they continue this kind of distractions on us, and if there will be not any education for us, so the population of Afghanistan will not have that power to talk about it, and also they're just accepting that their rules and regulations, and they're just going on that way that these people want from us.
I'm curious your opinion on this. So I saw an article that said that there are starting to be more restrictions now on the men who live in Afghanistan as well. So we've always known about the restrictions on women, but they said now they're starting to restrict men. They have to wear their hair a certain way and dress a certain way. But then that is causing now men who have voices and who have power to speak out, and like maybe they will start to retaliate. Do you think that could happen? And then do you think that could help the woman maybe gain some power back?
At the first, if I can make a joke, now they can feel as I don't know. I'm not happy for this, but I'm really sad about this rules for our men and also for our boys. They don't have voice too, Ginger. If we be true, they don't have their own voice too. I saw most of the news that was published in the Facebook and also most of the videos that they went to a barber shop, and the man and the like a teenage boy that wanted to shape his beard and also have a good style of hair. They slapped him, and also they just treated him that you should not do this. And even in one province, which is I think it's Kandahar, they just they just cut all their hair, and also they made that boy like a bald person. And if these kind of rules and regulation are really had a bad effective on our men's and also on our boys, because it's kind of taking away their confidence. It's really hard for them, and they cannot even decide for themselves too. And right now, the boys and also the men, they are not allowed to wear like jeans or maybe t-shirts in the offices and also in the public way. So it's kind of taking away their choices, their values, their decisions. Still, it's all about the controlling because they just succeed on us, like on women and also on girls. And right now, it's time to just have that successful achievement to our men too. And also, our men are not speaking up about this danger. They just accept it silently. They just accept it. And I talked with one of my relatives and I asked him that, hey, what happened to your style? Look at your face. There's so much beard and you don't want to bring any some changes. And he said, do you want me to go to prison? And I said, no. Why? He said that if I do not go in this style to my work, so they are going to put me into prison and also they are going to take me away from that office. So I should do this because I'm responsible for my family. The men are also accepting. Northanger, now if you walk in the streets of and other provinces, you will see like between 100 men, one boy which is wearing like a t-shirt with the pants. One of them are just wearing the Afghani clothes, which is Piran and Tonban. And the schools, even in the boys that they are going to the school, they should have that Afghani dress with a hat.
I thought maybe there would be a silver lining with the rules against the men because they do have a voice and they could speak up, but I guess there is no silver lining. The control is just growing and growing more.
You, I think you told us that you were self-taught English through YouTube, through TV. You taught yourself English, but how did you do so? Through TV, right?
No, not too good. It's just through YouTube lessons. Yeah, well, but practicing with myself, practicing in front of the mirror and using lots of difficult words with myself, judging myself, laughing at myself. But at least I made it a little bit.
Yeah, the fact that you learned English watching YouTube is remarkable. And then because this happened yesterday and they restricted the rights of what is it, the broadcasting of living beings yesterday. Are you afraid that abolishing social media might be next?
They can do that. Yeah. Yes, they can do that. Actually, they banned TikTok, and there was a news that they were going to ban like Facebook, Instagram, these social medias too. But still, it doesn't happen. But just suppose we are not allowed to see animals in the TV. Even animals. Oh my gosh! If I have lots of research about Islam, I'm going to research it, and I will find it. In which point of Quran Allah says that you should not watch animals? Oh my gosh.
What would their reasoning be? Like if you were to ask them, what do you think they would say? Why are we not allowed to watch animals?
This is my perspective. Maybe this is not their perspective. I'm just thinking about this. Like suppose it's all the like all it's all about the attraction, the sexual attractions. The bands like they said that women should cover themselves. It's because attracting men. And right now, men should not wear like pants and jeans because it's a sin. And right now, you should not watch the animals. I think it's all the sexual attractions that they think that they are sin and this is sin. They don't know that if you live based on your value, if you learn more knowledge and if you have a good relationship with the people, with your partner, there will not be any kind of illness that we should go through to the animals or maybe to others. We know that there are lots of sexual disorders that people have, that they are just attacking the animals and they are using animals on even a dead person. But we should talk about this and we should ask them that why you're just telling us do not watch the animals. Give us like some logical reasons so we can accept it, or maybe we can think that, oh yeah, you're right. They are not giving us any reason. They're just saying us, follow me.
Is there anything that you think could help the situation? Is it going to be the United Nations more aggressively stepping in? Is it another government? Like, what do you think needs to happen for these kind of rules to get reversed and to kind of go towards the path that you're hoping for?
There's so many lots of ways to solve this puzzle, you know. The first solution is having communication with Taliban. Another way is grabbing the international attention on us, and also it's not about the USA. It's all about the world, and they should just have a little bit attention to us. And also, the another way that maybe we can bring some changes is to speak about this. Because, you know, if I don't speak about this, so how do you know about my situation? Yeah, these are the points. And what I'm wanting from the international community is very simple. Please do not forget us. We are not just numbers. You know, we are people. We are people that we are suffering in here, and the young generation of Afghanistan is dying for education, you know? Just help them, support them, and having eyes on them. You know, we are in a prison. We cannot speak about these kind of things. And right now that I'm speaking with you is a kind of taking big risk in my life, you know? You don't know about my name, but it's kind of taking a big risk that I'm doing for myself and also for my people. But at least you can just listen to me and you can just support us. If we live in this situation, it's like a nightmare to continue living in this situation. And you know, Ginger, even I'm calling to my Afghan people that they are living in like abroad in a best country in the world. Most of them just they forgot us, you know? Even our own blood, even our own Afghans, they just forgot us and they just having attention to their own world. And shamefully, most of the time, them are not saying that I am Afghan. They are just hiding their identity from the world. Again, I'm telling you, please do not forget us.
Knowing what's happening globally, Israel, Iran, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, all that, are you afraid as though Afghanistan might be lower on the international totem pole, the priority pole? Do you feel as though most of the attention is going towards, right, these other conflicts that are happening? And that is probably a huge reason why the Taliban is able to make such aggressive, restrictive moves so quickly, because they know right now the rest of the world might be preoccupied with some other more dire situations. And that's kind of where they're taking advantage of implementing these rules while the world is
Distracted.
heavily preoccupied.
Yeah, it feels that they do not have attention to us. It feels like that, believe me. And you know, yes, as you said that there's another fights are maybe worse in the world, that the all attentions goes there. And yeah, maybe it's true that they are using this chance for forcing us to following them. And right now that the international community doesn't have any kind of attention, or maybe they don't have any interest about Afghanistan. Maybe they forgot us. But one thing is very clear that every country that they came to Afghanistan, they used Afghanistan. I'm sorry for that, but it's a little bit obviously it's clear. Like Russia came here and they just did what they wanted to do. USA came to this Afghanistan and they just finished with a uncertain war, and they just left Afghanistan with uncertainty, without any clearness. They just left it, and maybe their mission just finished. Yeah, again, we want from the international community that yes, I accept that there's so many wars which is going in the world, but please, there's another country that needs your support and also needs your help. So have attention for us too. Oh my gosh, it feels so bad, you know, Ginger. It feels so bad for me right now that it's not a kind of bragging. I don't want to do this because I'm not used to bag something from the people, but I'm just speaking on behalf of all Afghan girls, women, even boys and men that they are surviving right now. I'm speaking on behalf of them, and I'm just maybe this voice can bring some positive changes, and I hope so.
I don't see it as begging at all. I see this as you being
Yeah.
extremely brave and courageous and speaking up and sharing what we don't see. Like you're sharing your side. And I wanted to ask, I don't want it to be too personal, but you shared the story about the boy at the barber shop, and I feel like that really helps to paint a picture of what the rules specifically do to people who are living out there right now. Are there any stories that you have of your personal life on how these rules have directly affected you or things that have happened to you since the rules have changed recently?
Yeah, it affected on me personally a lot. Like the first effect that I felt in my life, which it was mentally. I was under stress like for 1 year, and after 1 year, I decided to myself that just finish this, and start from the zero. And yeah, so times I faced with them, and one of the time that it was the Eid celebration days, and I just weared like a really colorful hijab, and it was so long. And even though I had my uh, black glasses with my black mask on my face, and when I was crossing the route to take a taxi, the the member of Rise of Virtue and with another two members of this government armies, they came to me with a really, they were not just walking, they just came to me and they just rushed on me. And I was like this and I just freezed. And he said that if I take you to the prison like now, right now, who will, who will who will help you? Who will rescue you? On that time, I was just silent, and I told to myself, if I say something, they may, they may just beat me with with their guns, you know. And I said to myself to be silent, just please be silent. And also, he said that um, right now I'm letting you to go to your home, and if I see you again in this colorful dress, because you are in here to attract the men, and this is your goal. And if you wear this colorful hijab dress, even not hijab dress again, I will just take you to the prison without asking any question, and there will not be anyone to rescue, to help you. I shook my head like this, and I didn't say anything. I just stood one of the taxi, and I just took that taxi. And whenever I just sit on the taxi, even I felt guilt. I told to myself, oh, well, maybe they're right. Maybe you did a sin. And I was just crying, and I didn't share this story even with my family, even with my colleagues. I didn't share this story with anyone. And right now I'm sharing this with the world. Oh my God. Ooh, when I received home, and I said to myself that I don't want to feel guilt because I didn't just wear like improper dress. And I just again support myself. I did like this to myself. And also it happened so many times to like in the buzzer. It happened in the buzzer and so many areas. They just stood me and they just said, you should not wear your chadar like in here. You should wear it like this in here. And I said, okay. I didn't say anything to them because if we say anything, they will beat us, They will beat us. Yeah, this is the treats that we are receiving, Jay and dear Ginger. And the big treat that is obviously dear is about education. We are not receiving education when we are not allowed to go to school. So this is the big treat.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I know that was probably difficult, but it sounds horrible. Like you're trying to express yourself through your clothing. You're not trying to attract men. You're just trying to wear the things that you like and they're colorful. And then you're almost put in a trap because they ask you questions knowing that it's illegal for you to speak. And you're just put in such a tough place. So I appreciate that you shared that with us. It's interesting because we were there 6 months ago, and I feel like it was very different. Like Elton said, we had going into it, everyone said, you're going to a very terrible place. There are horrible things happening there. And then when we visited, we met you, we met some other people, we met a lot of women and men, we met Taliban members. And I think when we left or when we were there, I had a lot of feelings of like hope and positivity, even when we were having like meals with the Taliban and we were laughing and joking. And like it was weird because then we came home telling everyone, no, you're all wrong. Like it's actually going great there. Like things are rising, it's getting more positive. And then now seeing what's happening in the news, it almost makes me feel like guilty in a way for how much like fun we had, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, dear Ginger, actually, all Afghan people, include the Taliban, uh, they're really good with the foreign people, with the tourists, and you're just kind of our guest, and I'm really happy that you had a really good time, and also you just enjoyed your trip, and this is very happy, and also this is a really good news for us too, because you just saw the positive part of Afghanistan, and unfortunately right now I'm speaking about the negative side of our Afghanistan. Maybe one day will come that I will speak about the positive part of our Afghanistan. I cannot say that there's no even 1% percentage of hope in here. We can say that because most of the people that they are learning, they are gaining knowledge, they are learning, they are studying, they are just teaching each one of them, and also most of the people have homeschools. So these are the hopes that maybe it's a little bit, it's very little, but it's really kind of you that you came to our country and you had a really good time, and I'm so happy for that.
Well, thank you, because it's definitely it's an odd feeling to have because it feels very unfair for tourists like us to be able to go and have fun and be treated well, and then knowing in the back of your mind like what's actually happening there. So we have nothing but hope for the future of the country and for women's rights all over the entire world. And on that note, we do want to know your hopes, what your dreams are for you, for your family, your career. Like what are you hoping for the future for Afghanistan women?
Yeah, before the coming this government, I just registered my name into one of the private universities to take my master's degrees, and I just paid the 60,000 Afghani on that the first semester. I just studied for 2 months. Unfortunately, everything has changed, and they said that you are not allowed to go to university, and I just lost those amount of money on that university. Uh, right now my big aspiration is to continuing my education and the mastery degree that I always wanted, and I really want to be like a real professional girl that can help her people. And there's lots of hopes that I have about myself. I really want to make my own family, have my own family, and also I really want to continue my education, continue my life, because every individual deserves peace, deserves love in their life, and also I'm the part of that individuals in this world. And I wanna make a really peaceful environment for my family, for my niece that she wants to continue her education, and also for those girls and women that they are just seeing and me and I'm their role model. And I hope that we can bring some changes, but the big aspiration that right now I have is just continuing my education.
Not to go negative. Can I ask how long did it take to save up the 60,000 Afghani for the semester? Was that like a year or two? I have no idea.
I worked like for getting this money, I worked like for 2.5 years because I'm responsible for my family economy. I'm responsible for our financial things in my family, which is going on. And yeah, it took like 2.5 years that I collect that money, and unfortunately, it just went away. It flied like a bird from my cage.
I mean,
I didn't even think about that part, saying like, okay, you're now no longer to have education. What about everyone who's mid-education? I didn't even.
yeah, yeah, they're not gonna send you the money back. They're just gonna keep it. Yeah.
So for people who are watching right now, they're
Mhm.
interested, they want to help, they don't know what to do. I know you said, something they can do is to raise awareness, speak about it, but what directly can they do if they want to like support you? Like what would you want them to do for everybody who's watching you right now? What message do you have for them?
Yeah, it's like in two parts. Like, first of all, it's personally, and also another, the second part is like not personally, it's just all about Afghanistan. Um, Personally, if they wanna assess me, so I want you to um, make a connection with me. Maybe you can just support in the case of continuing my education, and also in case of making a peaceful environment for me and also for my family. And in the another part, maybe you can help Afghan people that they are living in Afghanistan. And I already told you that most of the Afghan people, they are really poor and they are just living in a really bad circumstance right now, and they really need help financially. They need help, and it's the winter is just coming. So I think maybe you can even donate like $1 if you want. And another thing that you can just speak about has in your small groups, please, in your big groups. I can also raise this awareness about the Afghan people, and especially girls and women. Maybe you can just make uh, like a bunch of people that they can help us, and also make like some scholarships for Afghan girls that they are in here and they really need to continue their education. So this is the point, that you can help us, and also maybe one day be that I can help you. Afghan people can help you. It's not just always one way. No, it's always like two ways. When you help one person, that one person will help you to like tomorrow. It's all about the universe. Do good things, because that good things will come to you again one day. This is my belief in the universe, and just that was my message to you.
You also said that the main thing you think that could help you right now is if the Taliban would listen to you and you guys could speak. So if somebody from the Taliban is watching right now, what would you say to them?
I will say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh at the first. And I will say that the points that I mentioned in this video, it's not personally. It's not like attacking you. It was the reality of Afghan peoples. It's the reality, your people, that you says that you're the owner of the Afghanistan, so we all your people. Is the reality of us. And I'm telling you, do not act based on your feelings and thoughts whenever you're listening to me. Please act based on what's fact, and act based on what you're committed to us. Like, maybe you are committed to having like a healthy society. I don't know about your goals and aims. Just think about that, and do not like take an action against me. Um, yeah, just think about what I have told you, and I was talking about. It was the real feelings that an Afghan girl have it right now.
Thank you for sharing everything and, answering probably more questions than I think you
It
were
was a long.
prepared to. Yeah.
I'm really happy to having a chance to speak, and also I'm really happy to meet you guys, and also I'm really happy to right now I may have lots of connection around the world, and it's a really big thing that happened in my life, and I'm really happy, and also I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You have obviously made it to the end of the video and the interview, and you have heard everything Salma has had to say. She has basically stated that the money is going to be used in kind of two different ways. Either it'll be used specifically for women and girls' education with the homeschool operations that are kind of being operated. They're like the only way education can really be done, with the older women educating children in groups of 20, 30, 40 at home, and those supplies and those needs and those necessities. Or the other options, or both, is going to be helping those that are more so in just general need, poverty-stricken. Winter is approaching, is there, and those supplies are desperately needed to quite literally stay alive. So we're leaving it entirely at her discretion, what the money goes to. We trust her. We know her background. We know her,
Yeah.
we can't share any of this information with you But
She's
if you
very
trust
qualified,
us,
and these are the two most important things that she feels the fund should be used for.
yeah. So if you want to help support her, there will be no time limit on this GoFundMe. It'll always be there, so whatever time you end up seeing this video, the link will still be there. But thank you for any support, or even, again, if you just watch this video, you are quite literally helping.